What's going on, guys? So I had a little thought today that I wanted to put together. If I had to start over from scratch, if I was building a gym for the first time right now, basement gym, home gym, where would I start? What equipment would I get? So I've had my basement gym and a couple different iterations of it over the years, starting from when I was living in another house to where I am now. And there's been a lot of equipment I've purchased. A lot has changed over the years with what's available, the cost of those things that are available. So I wanted to sort of go through, I guess, what you could call like my blueprint if I were to start over again, or what advice I would give you, in regards to starting a home gym. So I'm going to go through that now. Keep in mind, my style of training is more of like a bodybuilding style. I'm not a bodybuilder, obviously, but I enjoy bodybuilding style gym equipment and training. So you're not going to see, or I'm going to have a hard time commenting for like CrossFit, stuff like that. I don't do any of that stuff. So that's going to be a little difficult for me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of go through how I started, the equipment I started with, what changes I would make, and what recommendations I would make to someone who's, just starting the process themselves. So I'm actually going to I was thinking about getting behind the camera for a minute. I'm going to do that and start pointing at stuff. But so the first starting point absolutely is going to be some sort of squat rack, cage type situation. This is a rogue squat stand. There's REPFitness, Mikolo, GMWD, Titan Fitness. All these guys have their own type of squat stand or squat rack. This is what I use because I have low ceilings here. So I can't really use anything else. I don't have a need for much else because this fits my needs. I mean, what you're going to be able to do with this, obviously, is basic bench pressing, squatting with the safety arms, rack pulls. This is going to cover most of that in a safe way. So that's how we're going to get that. Then, obviously, along with this, you're going to need a bench. I'm using the Blackwing REPFitness. I like REPFitness benches. There's other benches out there, but you're definitely going to need a good quality bench. I'm going to say to try to buy something that you don't have to replace for a while. A lot of the planning when you're doing a home gym shouldn't be what you need now. You really need to think forward as to what you're going to need, say, in a year from now. How much stronger do you anticipate yourself being? Is this equipment going to hold up to when I'm lifting more weight? That's something we're going to go over as we go over this. So you're going to want some sort of squat stand, bench, and then a barbell to really get you started. This is a cambered bar. I'm using this. This is a specialty bar because I just have a bad shoulder, and this helps me with some of my pressing motions. A regular barbell, you're going to be looking at Rogue Ohio bar, American Barbell, FringeSport, REPFitness. Buy a quality barbell, or else they could break. Issues are going to happen over time. But you get a bench with a barbell. Now you're doing squats, you're doing deadlifts, you're doing rows. You could do barbell curls, bench presses, incline bench presses. It covers a lot of ground. All right. So from there, you're going to want some sort of dumbbell. Okay. So here I have the REPFitness, the Repins, the Pepins on a Yes for All stand. I've had this thing for a couple months now, the stand, and it's been solid. So anyone who's seen my other videos has seen this stand. I know through my affiliate link, a bunch of you guys have bought this stand. So I know that, people are using it, and I've had zero issues with this. I mean, racking, unracking, over 100 pounds with zero issue at all. You're going to want some sort of adjustable dumbbell. Before this, I had power blocks. They're phenomenal. I was always concerned about the clip breaking, the plastic clip. So there's a bunch of different options. You could do Nuo bells, Eisenlinks, Iron Masters. You got to see what works for you. I wouldn't get something that caps out at 50 pounds. I think that's too light. You may not be overhead pressing a lot or doing stuff like that, but stiff-legged deadlifts or rows off the floor, you're going to want more than 50 pounds in my opinion. But that's going to be different, for everyone. Okay. So once you have your bench, your barbell, your squat rack, your adjustable dumbbells, you may say to yourself, well, where do I go from here? I want to start buying some specialty stuff. Well, that's where we're going to move over because there's something that people usually buy, and I'm going to recommend against it for being the next purchase. So, when I started out, my next piece was actually Titan Fitness vertical leg press. I'm going to definitely tell you not to do that. In my opinion, that was a mistake. I ended up selling it eventually because it just didn't work well, for me at least. The mechanism going up and down wasn't great, so that's just my opinion. A lot of people go for leg extension, leg curl next. I'm going to tell you what I think. My opinion is that instead of going for the leg curl, leg extension, we're going to swing over here. You're going to get a belt squat, okay? So this is the Syedee GMWD compact belt squat. The reason why I'm saying you're going to go here first, and this is my opinion, obviously, this is going to let you do squats. This is going to let you do stiff-legged deadlifts. I use this a lot for rows, shrugs, donkey calf raises. I mean, sky's the limit, the number of variations you can do on this machine. You're already going to be able to do barbell squats here. This is going to help take the load off your back when you're doing, belt squats. Then, if you want to add from there, you can go back over and get a leg extension. The two are really interchangeable in the order, but that's my opinion as to why I think the belt squat's going to be more important. Now, when I bought this leg extension, this was like the only option at the time. I don't recall many others, and I paid a lot more for this than what is, the cost of it now, which is, it hurts a little, but that's just the way it is. That's the game, right? So, but if I was in the game starting fresh, I wouldn't be buying the GMWD LE01. At a minimum, they have the LE03, which has the independent legs. It looks like the build quality is higher than this one is. But then there's also other players in the game now. There's the Lionscool, Kingsmith, Atlas, REPFitness. They all have their own versions of the leg extension. So I'm going to say look at those, because while this was good for its time when it first came out, I think these others have the potential at least to be better. They have better mechanisms in terms of the resistance curve with the cable. And, I'm concerned that over time this one isn't going to last. Mine has held up pretty well, but ultimately this is going to be leaving my gym. I'm going to be getting some sort of a commercial grade leg extension. But if I wasn't, I'd probably looking at something like the Lionscool or something like that. So now you've added a leg extension, right? So you think to yourself, well, where do I go from here? The other options that I think that a lot of people go from here, or they may have done it already as well, is some sort of lat tower for pull downs and things like that. So if I come over here, I have the Kang Lat Tower. I can do pull downs on it, although my ceiling's low, so it's hard to get a full range of motion. From the floor, I can do like a seated row, but I use this a lot for tricep extensions, overhead extensions, things like that. Has an attachment for abs. I'll be honest, I don't use it much because the attachment that's on there now I use for ab, cable crunches. Okay. Definitely this, or the next thing is a pec deck. Okay. So, but here's my opinion. Rather than getting a standard pec deck, and a lot of you watch my videos, I'm going to recommend the seated fly. The only reason I could see really you wanting to get the pec deck over the seated fly is for the rear delt flies. I've seen pictures of people trying to do like a rear delt on this machine. I don't see why you would. I haven't done it. It feels awkward to me. If you want the rear fly, then here you go. You're going to get something like this. I upgraded mine with the aluminum pulleys. Makes a difference. But keep in mind, it doesn't hit the chest as well as this machine does. So that's why I really stress this machine. It's going to depend on what your goals are. It's going to depend on what you're trying to do. Again, I enjoy like a bodybuilding style workout, and I just think this machine here lends to a better workout for that. So those are going to be what I consider like the starting point that most people get, right? Now, the other thing is you don't want to neglect our plates. When you're starting out with just a barbell, you realistically need as much weight as you could lift, right? So if you're benching, deadlifting, or squatting anywhere in the 315 range, you're going to get enough plates to cover that. But once you start having multiple machines, you're going to want more plates, right? So you have the belt squat, you can load up some weight, then you got to move over from a time standpoint. You're going to want to load up on weights. I have a bunch of the older REPFitness ones that are double-sided rather than flat on one side. And then the plates you see over there are Magma Fitness plates, great for the money. Been thinking about snagging some plates online just to try out some new ones. To me, iron is iron. I weigh all my plates. As long as they're accurate, that's what I care about. Now, going from there, well, let's backpedal a second, okay? Because you bought the barbell. I like to have an easy curl bar, for bicep work too. That's a Synergee super curl bar, great barbell, easy curl barbell. And over here, I just have a regular, this is like a Temu barbell. It works pretty good. I don't expect it to last. If I could go back, I would have just bought another Synergee bar. So that's just, my 2 cents on that. Titan Fitness preacher curl bench, which I like. I like to do preacher curls. And I also have the GMWD preacher curl. To be honest with you, I've been showing this a lot because I started using it the other day with the curls, on the cable machine. The machine as itself, as I progress in my lifting career, if you want to say that, lifetime, I'll probably more likely to use just an easy curl on a preacher curl bench than I am to use this machine. If I were to get a nicer machine, that may change. Now that I started using the cable with it, I'm definitely going to use it more, but that pretty much negates the use of the actual machine other than just as another preacher curl bench. So the thing is, guys, at this point, you could start getting pretty crazy with your gym equipment, right? I have a right fit leg press there. Then going over to here, you see Temple of Gainz Alley, if you want to call it that, right? You got Temple of Gainz ISO row, chest supported T-bar row, pull over. When you swing around, I have the multi-flight over there. There's another REPFitness bench. Syedee, incline bench, Temple of Gainz wrist curl. I mean, sky's the limit. And, to give you a little sneak peek back here, there's an empty space. I ordered a GMWD pendulum squat. That's going to be going here. So you can go really ham on this stuff. I mean, you can really buy a lot of equipment. Here's a rare one you don't even see anymore, is a GMWD kickback, which works phenomenal. I don't know why they don't make it anymore. And then there's a seal row here. So, I hope this gives you a little insight because it goes from basic to crazy pretty quick. But if you start with a barbell, a squat rack or squat stand with a bench, adjustable dumbbells, you can cover so much ground doing, squat, bench, deadlift. And then once you start adding accessories, you all of a sudden you find yourself waking up in the morning in a pseudo commercial gym in your basement. So I hope this was helpful, guys. And I'm going to keep posting stuff like this, keep posting more equipment, going to keep giving you my opinion on things, unbiased, obviously, because to me, this is more about the journey of me building the gym that I wanted, in my home. It's not about telling you to go buy certain pieces of equipment just for the sake of it, right? I'm going to be honest with you, going to keep doing that. And I'm going to keep showing you my workouts because I enjoy this stuff. I love waking up in the morning, doing a hard workout. And it seems like you guys really like to see how people at home can put this gym equipment to use. So I'm going to keep doing that, all right? If you have any questions, please comment below. I'm happy to answer them. I'm sorry my hand's shaking a little right now. About the equipment, about the setup. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.